Good morning, Nicole Snow here. I wanted to share with you today some principles out of a really good book that I just got done reading. It's called The Coaching Habit by Michael Bungay Stanier. The full title is The Coaching Habit, Say Less, Ask More, and Change the Way You Lead Forever. And whether you're a leader in the corporate world, in your home, at church, you have opportunity for leadership every day of your life just by being in contact with people. And these 7 questions that he lays out are incredibly powerful in preventing us from just basically vomiting advice all over everybody, which isn't as impactful as helping people find and identify what the problem is. Like we talked about yesterday, that Einstein said, if he had 60 minutes to find a solution to a problem at penalty of his life, a penalty of death, he'd spend the first 55 minutes identifying the proper question, because if he knew the right question to ask, what's the real problem here, he could easily find the solution in the remaining 5 minutes. So this is kind of along those same lines, but in being able to help others, because I think that we all grow from helping others, and we all find, no matter what our careers are, no matter what our path in life is, the times that we find the most meaning in our life are the times that we are serving and leading and affirming others. No matter what our career path, no matter what our interests are, I really think that's one of our universal whys and why we find satisfaction and reward in the things that we do. So he starts out by saying that he puts forward a radical proposition in this book. A busy manager or leader only needs 7 good questions to radically lift their leadership game. And with those questions, anybody can coach and help other people because you're helping them walk through their solutions. Question number 1 is the kickstart question. It gets the ball rolling quickly. And the question is, what's on your mind? He says a good opening line can make all the difference. It cuts to what's important while sidestepping stale agendas and small talk, saying that, sometimes when we're interacting with other people, we can just get locked in small talk the whole time, and then our time with them is done and we've had no impact really. Question number 2, and what else? So first you've asked what's on your mind and you let them share that, and then secondly, you're going to ask, and what else? Because he says this is the question that keeps the flame of curiosity burning. And you can ask this more than once in the conversation. And what else may seem like 3 small words, but it's actually the best coaching question in the entire world. That's because someone's first answer is never their only answer. And generally, it's not even their best answer. It's not what's really the biggest problem. So first, you're going to ask what's on your mind. Second question is, and what else? The third question is the focus question, where you ask, what is the real challenge for you? So in this situation that this person's coming to you with, you're going to ask them, what's the real challenge for you in this? It gets to the essence of the issue at hand. It also diffuses your rush to just spill advice all over them. And we know that nobody likes anyone's advice as much as they like their own. And as a parent, you know that it is a real victory when you can get your child to come up with a solution or the answer to the problem themselves, because you telling them the right way to do something or the right way to go about it is sometimes completely lacking in power. Not only low on influence, but completely lacking in power. But if they think it was their idea, then it's the brightest, best idea in the entire world. So helping guide someone to their solutions is super powerful. The fourth one is, what do you want? He says this is the foundation question, and it's trickier than you might think to answer, and that a lot of disagreements in our adult life are based on unclear expectations. And in fact, one of the definitions of anger is an emotion that's caused over unmet expectations. Well, sometimes that's our own fault. Sometimes we have been so poor at communicating our expectations, whether we don't want to seem bossy or we don't want to impose, whatever the reason that we don't ask. Being clear about expectations is huge in a relationship, especially in a leadership opportunity. He says that it's trickier than you might think to answer, and many disagreements or dysfunctional relationships will untangle with this simple but difficult exchange. Here's what I want. What do you want? It's a basis for an adult relationship with those you work with, those you interact with, and a powerful way to understand what's really at the heart of things. Question number 5 is, how can I help? He says it might come as a surprise that sometimes our desire to be helpful can actually have a disempowering effect on the person being helped. This question counteracts that in 2 ways. First, it forces the other person to make a clear request. They have to put into words and identify what the request is and get really clear on what they want. And secondly, it's powerful because it works as a self-management tool to keep you asking questions and keep you from just spilling advice. Question number 6, if you're saying yes to this, what are you saying no to? And Michael Bungay Stanier says, if you're someone who feels compelled to say yes to every request or every challenge, then this is the question for you. Most of us feel overwhelmed and overcommitted, and I can completely identify with that. A yes without an attendant no is an empty promise. So I think it's Mel Robbins that says, if you're overwhelmed with what's on your plate, you're the only person you have to be upset with because you're the one that put it there. Sometimes we like to give over ownership and say, well, all these people are making demands of me and I've got to do this and this and this and this because of them. We're the ones that control what's on our plate. And then the final question for him, or that he gives for being a powerful coach and leader, what was most useful for you? He said, your closer is the learning question. It helps finish the conversation strong rather than just fading away. Asking what was most useful for you helps to reinforce learning and development. They identify the value in the conversation, something they're likely to miss otherwise, and you get the bonus of useful feedback for your next conversation. You're also framing every conversation with you as a useful one, something that will build and strengthen your reputation. And he says, when the pressure's on, stay curious. Just be willing to ask these questions. That it's actually more powerful to work through this series of questions than it is to even share your own experience at that point. That there's a time for that later. But staying curious and answering questions is a tremendously powerful tool in being a leader. And people, I think that most of us are not in the habit of that introspection and working through something like that ourselves. That's part of why we want a mentor. We want someone to share their life experience and it's just going to solve everything or pattern everything for us. And sometimes it's because we have the best intentions. We just want to get to work, get it done, solve what's going on. But there's more powerful ways to do it. And introspection is hard work, but helping guide someone through it is really powerful. And it was a great book, a great read, and I'd really recommend it. He also links to several short free videos on his website about these leadership principles and about breaking habits, because one of the first habits we have to break is that reflex that we have of just spilling information and opinions all over everybody. So the challenge for today is, when you have the opportunity to interact with others, to ask these questions. You can start with what's on your mind and what else. Third, what's the real challenge for you here? What do you want? How can I help? If you're saying yes to this, what are you saying no to? And what was most useful for you? And I'd love any feedback that you have and how this is working for you and opportunities that you've had to implement it. Thank you.